Hey. I was thinking, and so I wanted to come on here and share my thoughts with you. September is GYN Cancer Awareness Month. And so I want to make sure that I let the ladies know to pay attention to your body. If you notice any changes in your female parts, let your doctor know. Early detection is key for surviving cancer. So pay attention to your body. And if there's something that's different, don't be afraid to let your physician know. Today, I wanted to read a little bit from my book called The Beautiful Journey Finding Purpose Through Cancer. I released this book in October of 2016. My book is almost 10 years old. I cannot believe it because people are still purchasing my book. They're purchasing it to help people who are going through their own cancer experience. Now, when I wrote the book, of course, it was about my experience, but I thought the book was going to be really, I wanted it to be for anyone who was going through adversity. My adversity just happened to be breast cancer at the time, and then uterine cancer subsequently. But it was for anyone dealing with adversity. But I am grateful that people still buy my book to share with someone who's going through their own cancer journey. This chapter is titled What the What? It's chapter 16. And the quotation that I open the chapter with is as follows. I am not afraid of storms, for I am learning how to sail my ship. And that quotation comes from Louisa May Alcott. I know, I know. I hear it all the time. You don't look like someone who has gone through cancer. But what does someone who's gone through cancer look like? I must admit, I look amazing. My skin is smooth and it's glowing. I just say it's God's grace radiating through me. Looks can be deceiving, huh? It's hard to look at someone and truly know what they're going through or even what they've been through. Recently, I've been listening to the song Life and Favor by John P. Key. It has been on repeat for the past couple of weeks. I will share some of the words to this song because it's easy to make judgments about people based on what you see, but you don't know their story. The song says, You don't know my story. You don't know the things that I've come through. You cannot imagine the pain, the trials I've had to endure. In all, God has been faithful to me. He promised He would never leave me. My story proves that God can use me. Deliverance is my testimony. You don't know my story. We all have a story to tell. I can't look at you and assume I know how life has treated you. You can walk through this world and look as though everything is great, yet you're dying on the inside. We must be mindful of how we treat people because we don't know what they've gone through or what they're currently going through. All of us have experienced adversity that has challenged us. We've experienced hurt, trials, and tribulation. But the hope is that we'll come out of these situations better than we were before. God never wastes a hurt. Romans 8:28 says, and we know that all things work together for good to those who love God, to them who are called according to his purpose. Everything that we go through is for our good if we trust and believe his word. It help it helps mold us into the unique beings that we're meant to be. Cancer didn't slow me down, nor did I use it as an excuse to give up on life. Honestly, I look at my breast cancer diagnosis as a blessing. Now, this was before I found out about the uterine cancer. I know that may sound strange, but it's true. It forced me to slow down and take some time to look at Andrea, to look at the person I was and help create the person I wanted to be. Even though the roads to becoming cancer free weren't easy, they were necessary. The old me had to go. I have morphed into a better me, one who's more compassionate, one who's wiser, one who's stronger, one who's less judgmental, one who lives intentionally and purposefully. So, yes, cancer was a blessing for me. This journey has given me so many grand ideas as to how I want to positively impact the world. I can't wait to see what the universe has to offer next. After I survived cancer, and I talked about this in a previous video, I would have celebration of life parties. And so it was after the second one that I took my nephews to Disney World. And on our last couple of days there, it was a mess, like literally a mess. I knew something was wrong. I just didn't know what it was. And I did not think cancer. And I'm going to see if I can find where it is in this book. I don't want to read everything, but I'll read this part. I talked about how I had gone through egg harvesting. And the reason I did that is because I wanted to possibly have a kid one day. And so I went through that procedure. And so when I found out that I was having issues, I had come back from Disney World. And that night, I took the kids to my mom's, and my girlfriend called me and she decided to meet me at the emergency room. They had done an exam and also did a biopsy while I was there. Or did I do the biopsy the next day? Because they told me to go see a GYN. I'm not going to read the book. I know it's all in there. But I remember they told me to go see a GYN as soon as possible. And so I just had to make an appointment with whomever had an appointment available. And that's where the biopsy was done. They suggested that I have a hysterectomy because I had a lot of fibroids and it was taking up all the space inside of my uterus. And I didn't want to do that, not yet, because there was still a possibility that I could carry a kid one day. And so I decided that I would just have the fibroids removed. My surgery was scheduled on July 28th. That morning, Jackie came to pick me up and we headed to the hospital. Jackie is one of my best friends. While we were en route, I think I made it 5 minutes from home, but that's when I received a telephone call. Hello, is this Andrea? Yes, it is. Who's calling? This is Dr. Z. I know you're scheduled for surgery in a couple of hours, but I just received the results from your biopsy. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry to tell you this, but the biopsy came back positive for cancer. I was stunned. I was like, wait, what? What are you saying? Like, you gotta be kidding. Like, this cannot be my life. And I remember I didn't even have a chance to say anything to Jackie before she asked, is it cancer again? I just began to cry. Turned around, went back home, called my mom for her to come over so I can tell her. The next chapter is called Here We Go Again, because here I am having to go through cancer again. And the quotation that opens the chapter is, I learned that life will go through changes, up and down and up again. It's what life does. And that quotation comes from Ben Okri. Going through this cancer was much different than the first one. I'm just going to do my personal reflection. I talk about everything that happened, the appointments with my oncologist, etc. But I just want to speak to you from what I was feeling when I was writing this book after I had gone through the cancer. I had mentioned earlier in the book about the surgeries that I had for the breast cancer. And even though I went through breast cancer, I did not feel as though I lost my femininity. I looked as though I was, trading my boobs for life. That's how I felt. Yes, I was going to miss my boobs, my breasts, but you can do things to fix that. But uterine cancer was much different. I knew I had to have my uterus removed. However, I didn't know that my ovaries, fallopian tubes, and anything else female had to go. I can remember the conversation like it was yesterday. My doctor recommended I removed all my reproductive organs. He said if I didn't have them removed, it would be like pouring gasoline on fire. Those were the words he used. Basically, he was saying, that it was risky to keep them because cancer could easily spread since I've already had gynecologic cancer. Nothing good could come from me keeping those organs. And the cancer that I had was a rare cancer, but it had a high percentage of probability, it had a high percentage probability of coming back. And so everything had to go. And even though it was difficult to hear, I decided to take heed from his recommendation. Everything that was female is now gone. No boobs, no uterus, no ovaries, no fallopian tubes, no nothing. Having all of those removed caused me to have to deal with other issues. Once my ovaries were removed, I was immediately thrown into menopause. My hormones were all over the place. Now I couldn't go anywhere without carrying a fan. It was just a mess. It was a mess. I had to take calcium, still do, supplements to prevent osteoporosis. Like hormones are important. And once they're gone or reduced, things happen and changes. But the hardest part, which I talked about before, is that having my uterus removed took away any chance of me having a child. It's like all of that I had gone through was gone. The dream was gone. It was tough. It was tough. But I don't think people think about, I mean, first of all, a lot of people don't even talk about their GYN cancers because it is private. I just happen to be a person who believed that my purpose is bigger than my own secrets. And so I felt the need to be able to share what I had gone through so that other women, other people who go through something similar know that they're not alone in this journey. I thank God for life. I thank God for life. And what kept me going was these words that came from a card that I had given to someone and one that I received. And it says, with God, every day is a day to begin again, to trust and feel His love for us, and know that in all the confusion, there's a gift to be found. With God, every day is a day to hope for the best, to believe our prayers are being heard, that good news is on its way, that anything can happen between yesterday and tomorrow. With God, every day is a day to count our blessings, to remember whose children we are and what we're capable of through a Father who cares so much. With God, every day is a day to make new, to forgive and heal, to do what we can and leave the rest to God. The author of that card is unknown, but those words has helped me through every adversity that I've gone through. And it all starts with God. Yeah. That battle was something. That one was something. And in this part of my story, I share one of my dear friends with you. I call him Q in here, and he really helped me get through this cancer journey. And my dog, too. I talk about how my dog knew how to spell. Like, I would say, "Do you want an EGG?" And she knew that meant an egg because I used to cook her eggs in the microwave. Or I would spell out TREAT, and she knew that was a treat. That all came from my friend who taught my dog how to spell. But, when I go back and read my book, and I try to read it at least once a year now. I don't read it as much as I used to, but I try to read it at least once a year because it reminds me where God has brought me from and how He was there through everything, everything. In those dark times, He gave me hope. And so I just wanted to share that with you. I have to come back one more day this week to remind you to pay attention to your body, ladies, because this is GYN Cancer Awareness Month. And then we move into October, and guess what? You're going to be hearing from me again for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. But yeah, be well and stay healthy. All right. Bye bye.